Hi everyone. Today's question is that is factor endowment always a necessity for the development of an industry? Discuss with reference to Assam. This question appeared in the GS paper 1 of this year APSC mains 2023. So the question is asking about factor endowment, and it is actually asking that whether it is mandatory to have for the development of an industry, and we have to answer it taking the reference to Assam. And this question is for 150 words, and means you have to write within 150 words, and the answer will bring 10 marks. So factor endowment. Before that, you have to know one particular theorem, that is Heckscher-Ohlin theorem, that is known as HO theorem. This HO theorem, a capital abundant country will export the capital intensive good, while the labor abundant country will export the labor intensive good. And factor proportions model, which links exports and imports to factor endowments. And then exports, a country exports those commodities produced with relatively large quantities of the country's relatively abundant factor. So you got it, that whatever the economy is concerned, the main thing is that how much actually export is going on. And we usually compare with the imports of that country. Now, factor endowment is exactly the resources that country can use for economic activities, like land, minerals, capital, and labor. So what do you understand? Factor endowments are the availability of the resources that any country can use for economic activity. And what are those factors? Like land, minerals, capital, and labor. Labor is also a factor, mind it. Then countries with large or diverse factor endowments can produce more goods than the countries with smaller factor endowments. Obviously, if a country has large availability of these factors, then its economic activity will be more, means the development of that the economy of that country will be more compared to that country which has less availability of such factors. The theory of comparative advantage states that a country can reap the greatest benefit in the world market by specializing in those factors that it has in relative abundance. Any place cannot be means well equipped with all the factors. Means it has some specialization, or it has some specific resources that are available in abundance, but all the factors will be there. We cannot say that. Like if you consider our India, and we have cheap labors. Yes, we have tea production, specifically if we consider Assam, then we have tea production in abundance. And we also have what? Tourism industries, because different tourist places are there, which brings attraction of lot of tourism from different parts of the globe, right? So then Assam can utilize of the availability of its resources like tea, or you can say those different tourist places, and also natural gases and oils, so that specifically with respect to those resources, it can increase the development of its economy. That is the factor endowment, right? Because of the factor endowment, it can take advantage of specific type of availability of the factors, right? Now, while factor endowment can play a significant role in promoting industrial development, it is not always an absolute necessity, and other factors like technological innovation, infrastructure, government policies, market demand also play crucial roles. So if the question is that whether only the factor endowment is required for the development and of an industry, then the answer will be no. Because why? Yes, it is required. Obviously, it will be required to means put some progress of the development of an industry or development of an economy. But Along with those factors, another factors are required are like technological innovation. Means technologically that countries or that place should be very rich so that it can well utilize the resource or factor endowment it has. Infrastructure should be good. Government policies also well planned to explore those factor endowment, right? Market demand also play very crucial roles. Got it? So we have to answer like that. Yes, factor endowment is necessary for promoting industrial development, but we cannot say, sir, that it is absolute necessity. It will boost the industrial development, but along with that, other factors like technological advancement, infrastructure, government policies, market demands also play crucial roles. Now, if we give the example of factor endowments, like one familiar example is that countries that are endowed with bountiful petroleum resources. I hope you already got that which countries we are referring. We are referring to countries like Saudi Arabia, Bahrain, and the United Arab Emirates that have attained great wealth by specializing in petroleum exports and importing other goods. It has an abundance of petroleum resources, so it has attained a great wealth by specializing the exports of such petroleum resources. And those, with the help of those money, with the help of those wealth, it can easily import other goods, right? So that is an example of factor endowment. Rather than developing their own local industries, those countries can realize greater benefits by focusing on those industries where they have an advantage. Obviously, if particular country is lacking behind some specific industry, which is actually not possible to get developed in that soil or in that soil of that country, then just focus on those resources which are abundantly available, rather than focusing on those resources which is not possible to be grown or to be developed in that particular region. And these Arabian countries like UAE, Saudi Arabia, they are taking the advantage of their abundance of or their abundant petroleum resources. Okay. Then on the other hand, the countries with fewer natural resources can lean on human factors for economic benefit. Countries with a large labor advantage like Vietnam, Burma, Colombia have been able to leverage their populations for the world export market, allowing their workers a higher income than would otherwise have been available. Forget about these countries. We can easily give the example of Bangladesh also. They have the cheap labors available in abundance, right? They can utilize those human resources to earn the wealth. Those are not possible if they go for some another industries. So cheap labors can be considered as one of the important factors or factor endowment with respect to Bangladesh. Now let's come to the other part of the second part of the question, that is factor endowment in Assam. I already told you that Assam is rich in what type of resources. Assam is known for its abundant natural resources, including fertile land, water bodies, minerals, and forests. It is also rich in oil, tea, and natural gas reserve. But that this sentence should be that it is very much rich in tea production. Obviously, this is the state which has highest production in the country India, right? Assam is having the highest production of tea. The state has a diverse range of agricultural products, and its natural resources provide a potential foundation for industrial development. But what are the challenges despite of having this great factor endowment? Challenges are like, infrastructure and connectivity, because we don't have that type of adequate infrastructure which is required for the development of, or you can say, the development of potential economic, or you can say the development of or utilization of those factor endowment that Assam has. Also, the connectivity is not that far good, or nowadays obviously government is taking some initiatives to boost the connectivity, but don't forget that we have been connected to the mainland India through that chicken neck corridor, right? So that's why now different projects are coming, which we are going to Myan to count means we are utilizing our neighboring country Bangladesh to have connection to the mainland India, right? And then we are having IMT trilateral highway being under progress. So these different type of connectivities are coming nowadays, but this thing should be considered as a challenge. Then next, technological innovation. I already told you, if the resources are there, it is okay, but how the resources should be utilized, that needs some kind of good technological skills. And this is not only Assam, several states of India are lacking those particular things. That is what? Skills required. We are producing a number of BTEs, BTechs, means technological graduates. But whether are we actually succeeding to utilize those human resources that we are producing for those different engineering graduates? I think the answer is no. If we go through different skills, different indexes, as like you can consider the index from the Niti Aayog itself. The skill that is required is really not to that level that we can say that we are having a good, or we can say that adequate skill human resources that is required for the utilization of the resources that we have. So first thing, technological innovation is slow. We need more faster innovation, and we also need high skilled laborers. Then market access is also very important. Industries needs access to the market to sell their products. Whatever the industries you have, we have a lot of tea states in Assam. We have tea industries grown this 200 years back, right? But what happens if those industries, whatever their output, if we cannot sell it to the international market? We have a lot of unique items, you know, Bhut Jolokia, that is famous all around the world. We have different GI product, like now we have magic rice, which doesn't need any fuel to be cooked. But that magic rice should be easily to be means that should have some market access in the international markets also, not just the domestic markets. I'm talking about the international market also. Then only you can push the economic outcome from such unique products. So we need market access, and that is where we are lagging behind. Obviously, nowadays, from the last 2-3 years, we can see a growth in this market access, but we want more. Okay, and at least we want this growth to be steady and to be continued. So a very good market access is required. Then these are the challenges I just told you. What are the challenges? Infrastructure and connectivity, technological innovation, skilled labor, market access. Now, let's come to the last point, that is diversification and specialization. I already told you, whatever you have, you should be skilled enough, you should be smart enough to sell it. Means you should be smart enough to find out what specialization you have. Like in Assam, we are very much specialized in tea production. We are very much production in oil and natural gas production. So we should focus on the specialized products that could easily be sold, that could easily be produced, and for which we can easily develop some industries that will push our economy. And diversification also needed. Like nowadays, we are targeting millet productions, a kind of diversification from our mainstream staple foods. So we have to focus on such issues also, that whether our state, our soil has the capacity of producing different other items also. If it is, then we should go for it. At least we should do some experiments, right? So diversification is very much needed. We have to focus, we have to keep an eye on other sectors also, so that anyhow, if we find it that apart from our common industries, if we find some another industries which will have a great outcome in near future, then we have to focus on that also. So diversification and specializations. First, specialization, I have to say specialization. You should know your specialization. You should know your specialized products and industries. you should focus on boosting them, as well as you have to keep an eye on the diversification also. And in that way only, we can take the more utilization, or we can take the more benefit out of the factor endowment we have in our Assam. So let's come to the conclusion. Factor endowment can provide a foundation for industrial development, but it is not the sole determinant. Assam's experience highlights that while the state processes certain natural resources, other factors like infrastructure, technology, skilled labor, and market access are equally crucial. Successful industrial development requires a holistic approach that leverages factor endorsement while addressing the challenges and capitalizing on opportunities. And where these challenges can be addressed, by which we can address these challenges, obviously with the help of some proactive government policies, and also the private sector participation, and our youth should be engaged with some innovation type of studies and research, so that this way we can utilize the factor on endowment that we have in our state, accepting the trajectory of industrial growth in our Assam. So these are the essential components required. I hope that the question and answer what we have discussed is clear to you. Factor endowment and its necessity for the development of an industry, and we have answered it with respect to Assam. So that's it. I hope if any doubt still exists, you can ask me. I hope you are going to ask me through a comment. If not, then you can type any other question you want me to discuss. So just ending the lecture with one single statement that factor endorsement is very much necessary, but it is not the sole thing on which the development of an industry depends. Other things also required. That's it. Thank you.